Hello and welcome everybody to the latest installment in Daughter of Alba, Adventures in Calandria. Today's episode is going to be called Encounters. It is the morning of the first day of harvest, so you have a lot of work that you're going to do. Siobhan is not going to do that much physical work because she still can't really hold stuff because her hands are still bruised. So she's decided that she's going to teach Carl. And Carl, as you have discovered last time, can actually speak to animals. So that's probably his mother's witch's blood that is coming through, because she did she did say that he had inherited her powers, the power of life, and it's not quite clear if he actually realizes that he is unique in that, but you found out because he spoke to your horses, and Storm and Percy told him that you'd been in the Chrysaea, and it turns out that he can talk to animals, which of course is an interesting skill to have. There's also something that's going to happen at the end of the 5th day. There's going to be a puppet theater. Callista estimates that it will take about 4 to 5 days to finish the harvest, thrash all the corn, and then what she's going to do is she's going to fill some of it into bags, which then Tilda is going to take a boat and ship into Brook, the village, where all of the other farmers are also going to contribute some of their corn, because they also wanted to be sent to the miller in Finsborough. The miller is incidentally Tilda's father, and she will actually have a wagon prepared by the city or by the village, and some of Callista's stuff will go on there too. And you've decided that it would be a good idea to actually go with her.
Yeah, to give her some protection in case stupid people try to steal the hard-earned wheat and all the things collected. And it gives us a way to see a new place.
Yeah. And so basically, it's work that you're used to. It's hard labor. It's all manual. You have a scythe that you use, or you have 3 people using scythes to cut the wheat, and then you bind it together, and then you take it to the place where you thrash it, and then there's also like the straw itself, which is used basically for putting into the stables for the horses, and they also keep some of it back to basically to fill straw pallets that they sleep on. So basically you have to remove it every so often and change it out. So nothing ever goes to waste. So everything is reused and used and put by. Carl turns out to be a really, well, you probably also thought this in the beginning, that he's a very intelligent boy. So as they say, Siobhan learns him his letters. And of course, since it's Algonquin, she can also read it and write it. And he learns how to read and write. And she leaves him, and she makes a little kind of like a little reader for him. So basically, she writes down all of the letters, and for each one, she has an example word that he knows, and she says that he can keep this, so that he can keep practicing. You are also provided with food, and you can also write down you got 10 copper. So this time around, I'm not going to be so stupid as to say 100 goes into ones, but we have 10 copper in 1 bronze, 10 bronze in 1 silver, and 10 silver in 1 gold. But you're told that basically bronze is what people might have seen, but nobody here has seen silver or gold. So it's really copper. So you have earned 10 copper for returning the boy. And you get free food, and basically you have a really lovely room, and the horses are kept. And so on the evening of the 5th day, do you want to go into town and attend the...
Yes, obviously. And we will see, I think that everyone is joining, because Carl would definitely enjoy it.
Yes,
and
Carl is definitely going.
Everyone deserves a nice evening and a small break.
Callista then also suggests that she and Tilda will take the boat back up so that they have the boat for the next day to ship the sacks of wheat down. And would you take Carl with you?
Yes, we would.
Okay. So you go to the village, and in the village square, the burgomaster has set up a little well, it's like a puppet theater. So like your Punch and Judy, only it's not Punch and Judy because that's a cruel story. And basically in front of it there are little benches and people are sitting down. There is kids, but there's also adults who are sitting down at the back, of course. Some are holding their kids on their laps. And the burgomaster comes out, and he basically, his name is Dale Fairsmith, and Dale stands in front of his little puppet theater, and he says, well, boys and girls, tonight I'm going to tell you the story of Peter and the Wolf. And Peter and the Wolf is a story that you don't know, but it seems to be a staple because everybody's clapping, and you hear people, Peter and the Wolf, great. And he then goes behind this, and a little curtain opens, and you see the painted backdrop of a forest, and then there's a little puppet. So it's not a marionette, but it's actually puppet. So it's basically you put your hand in, and you see the puppet of a boy. And basically the boy is walking through the forest, and he's doing a soliloquy saying that it's dark and he's an orphan and it's cold, and he's trying to find a place where he can stay for the night. And then he finds a little cave. It's really just a very small cave, and he goes to sleep, but then he wakes up because he hears something in the undergrowth, and suddenly, out of the darkness, a huge grey wolf appears, and basically he pulls back his jaws, and he bares his teeth, and he growls at the boy, and the boy shouts and runs off and falls down a ravine. And he's hurt in the fall, and so he's lying there, and he thinks that this is the end of him because he's fallen down a cliff face. Basically, he's broken a leg, and he falls unconscious, and then he wakes up again, and next to him stands a large grey wolf and nuzzles him. And Peter is a bit afraid, but he realizes that the wolf isn't doing anything to him, but is giving him some food as well. And then the wolf says to him, I have a cub, and I don't have long to live. The cub needs a friend. And then it's a she-wolf. She brings out the cub. It's a tiny wolflet, and she basically says, I'm going to nurse you back to health. This will be my last thing that I do on this earth. Take care of my son. And time passes. She nurses Peter back to health, and then she dies. And Peter takes the wolf cub. He names it Simon. And Peter and Simon grow up together. Simon can speak. And the two of them venture out in the forest. They are inseparable, and they have many adventures. And then one day, Peter realizes that he gets older, but Simon doesn't. And Simon says, yes, I'm immortal, but you are not. So we shall pray to the gods that we shall never be separated. And the gods take pity on the two friends, and they cast them into the sky. And when we look up at night, we can see the constellation of the hunter and the wolf. And that's the end of the story. And everybody's clapping.
Yeah.
And Siobhan actually looks up at the sky because now night has fallen.
Mm-hmm.
And on a 20, she actually looks up and she says, "Look, the story's true."
Aisling is fully focused on what happens there. I don't think she's like what? What were you talking about?
She points to the constellation and she points out. She says, "That's the hunter, and there's the wolf." And now you can make an intelligence roll for me.
Oh God, that's not her strong. Oh, ooh! I rolled a 29. It's a success.
There you are. Because this is the first time that you've actually looked at the sky, the night sky,
Yeah.
fully focusing on what you're seeing. And you notice that the stars are completely different.
Different, yeah.
There is not a single, there is no Orion, there is no Vela, there is no star or constellation that you recognize. The sky is completely different. Which of course you know because you use the stars. You know that people use the stars to navigate. So you are really in a completely different world. How does that make you feel?
Honestly, lost. I think that's a moment, anyhow, where Aisling A feels quite small, and B also, that's a big point of feeling that this is not home. We are far, far, far away from home.
Mm-hmm.
But Aisling will say nothing to Siobhan. She will just stand next to her and just look up.
Okay.
And then focus again on the kids and the families around.
Well, it's obviously a story that they all know. And it's kind of a little bit sad, but it's got a good ending because the friends will be together forever.
Mm-hmm.
They are inseparable even in death. And yeah, and then the evening draws to a close. And then Tilda and Callista talk to Dale and ask for the ship, for the boat, and they also you hear them discuss that tomorrow the wain should be ready so that they can go back to Phibsborough, or Tilda can go to Phibsborough and deliver the wheat.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, yeah, everything's ready. Everybody else has already brought in their wheat, and it's already stored in the big store house, and it's already on the wagon. So when they come in tomorrow, he will put some oxen before it. And basically the idea is that she takes it to Phibsborough. Everything is ground. She takes back the flour, then puts it all on the wain again, drives back to Brooke, distributes it all, and then she's gonna stay with
Callista.
Eric and Carl and Callista, because the two of them are alone and there's enough space, and you know.
Yeah.
And so that's what's going to happen. And the two ladies take the boat, I should say, and row up to their little farm. Well, it's not that little actually. And the three of you go back to. Yeah. Do you did you bring the horses or did you walk?
I think we would have taken the horses on the way towards, since the others are on foot. I think we would just have led the horses, but for the way back we would take the horses, and Carl would sit with Aisling on Storm.
Okay, so you go back, and again you notice that this raven seems to be following you guys, and after a while, the normal time, you arrive at the house, and the ladies will be a little bit later because it's actually taking a little longer by boat.
If I recognize a raven following, I would honestly talk to Carl, and I would just... Would you mind just asking them why they are following us?
It's a bit weird talking to them in front of other people.
I know it's not usually. It's a special thing that you can do, but I would be really curious because it's not the first time I've seen it around.
So he turns to the raven and he says, "Hello, good evening. So you understand what he's saying. We were wondering why you're following us. Is because and then he turns to you and he says, has he been following you before?
Yeah, he followed us before. He did nothing, but I would be curious.
So basically the raven squawks as they do. And then he says he's just curious. He says he's never seen anything like me before.
Understandably so.
Is there anything else you would like me to ask him?
Does he plan to stick around?
He asks, are you planning on sticking around? And the raven says something, and he says, apparently he's a watchman.
A watchman? For what?
He asks. I'm not sure. I think he said, this can't be right. He said that my mother sent him.
Aisling would give a smile. That makes a lot of sense.
But my mother is dead. She died when I was just little.
But you heard stories about even if our family and friends die, they kind of still look after us.
He looks at the raven, and he's very, he's now very thoughtful. And then he takes out this little raven statue that you gave him, this little carved raven, and he says, weird, isn't it? And he puts it back in his pocket.
I think Aisling would just go through his hair and be like, I think you have a friend that can help you and can keep an eye on you or keep an eye on something for you.
You think?
Yeah. And you know, ravens are quite smart.
That's true. I saw one count one time.
They're really clever.
And you continue on your journey, and the
Yeah.
raven keeps circling. Sometimes it flies ahead, then it comes back again, and then you arrive at the at the farm. You take care of the horses. About half an hour or so later, the two ladies arrive. They drag the boat onto the little beach that they have, and then you go to bed for the night.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Okay. So, anything you would like to do, or shall we jump to the next day?
I think we can jump to the next day. I think in the evening it would be about maybe already pack things that quite early in the morning we can start going.
Yeah, you actually do want to make a quick start. So
Yeah.
basically then you put the bags of the sacks of wheat into the boat. Tilda is gonna punt it down to the village, and then the two of you get on your horses. You say your goodbyes first.
Yes.
Carl is he says, if you ever come back, then we will have to meet.
I can promise you, as soon as we're nearby, we will definitely peek in and see if you are not making big troubles to your stepmom.
He actually smiles, and she says, no, he's never been trouble. He's a really good boy.
I hope it's getting calmer now for you, and I hope that the village people are behaving.
Well, I think that they were very... They've got egg on their face now.
They do.
And then you say she's also provided you with food, so it's like little food parcels and stuff, so that it keeps for several days. Then you go to the village where you arrive, and basically the wain has already been moved into the village square. You help Tilda put everything on it. The oxen have been lashed to the wain, and she sits on the wain. She's gonna drive it, and you're gonna ride. And that's actually because oxen are quite steady in their pacing. So basically, the two of you will be riding next to her, behind her, because it's fairly big. So one of you can ride behind her, in front of her. So you make your way to Phibsborough. So it's gonna be round about, I would say maybe half a day from the edge of the village to the junction. Remember, you came south, you went north, but you passed the junction and then you caught up with her. So basically the junction is a way that you're now taking west. You've never been there before, so this is new territory for you.
Although we would have talked to Tilda and see how long the overall ride would be, because she should have the experience to know if it's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days.
No. It's actually about a day or so. I mean, I would actually want to take a break at around noon, just to give the oxen a little bit of a break. But we will arrive at my father's mill by the evening. It's around 25 kilometers from the edge of the village. And you take a turn west, you follow the road, and you can actually see that the lay of the land is now as follows. You see a plain before you, which makes sense because a windmill would be best suited on a plain.
Yeah.
There are hardly any trees, and there is basically hills in the distance, and you see that the road stretches towards those hills. And then you see the windmill already. The windmill is also surrounded by several fields that have now been harvested. But obviously the miller also grows stuff, which makes sense because he can mill his own flour. She says, that's my father's mill. If we follow the road, we would come to two more. Well, it's basically one village, but it's basically a little bit spread out. So there are still people living there. That's also people who will have their flour milled here.
Okay.
But if you then went on through the hills and kept going on that road, at the end of this road lies a city called Tamlin. And that city is on the sea. Because you wanted to know if there was a sea. There is a sea here, northwest of here. It's also on a river. And beyond that river lies another land. Of that I know nothing. I've never been to the city, but I know it exists because every so often people travel through here. Quite a lot of people, actually. And you can see that the road is really well maintained.
I think with that, hearing that, Aisling would look at Siobhan and would... It's worth checking how cities here are looking compared to ours.
Yes, why not? And you wanted to go to the sea anyway.
Yeah.
And basically by about 8 o'clock you arrive at the mill. Tilda jumps from the wain and she knocks on the door. And 2 or 3 household members, journeyman millers, come and take down start unloading the wain. Her father is there, her mother is there. They greet her. You have a feeling that this seems to be quite a happy family. She introduces you. She says, well, let me introduce you to 2 friends. This is Aisling. And this is Siobhan. They helped Callista with, and she pauses for a second and looks at you and nods as you say the harvest. With the harvest. And they're travelers and they've never been to Tamlin. They're strangers to this land. So I said, well, come with me if you would like to see something else. And they're gonna travel on to Tamlin. But I mean, at the moment they're helping, so of course, and she turns to you, of course you can stay the night. And then her mother says, well, you can stay more than one night if you like. Of course we have rooms for you. And we've also got food. So I will just go in and warm up the stew.
I would love to stay at least one night, and if you do not need help with processing the harvest, I think we would move on.
Well, I think
Tomorrow.
we can process the harvest ourselves. But I mean, you're always welcome. If you're friends of the family, then of course, please, you will always find an open door. And then she turns around and she shouts, Laritza, and out comes probably some kind of maid, and she says, Laritza, we have guests. Can you please prepare a room? And tell your brother that there are 2 horses that need looking after, so he needs to prepare the stables. You see, we only have oxen, but of course we can also put up your horses. And then a young man, really well built, very strong, comes in and he handles the oxen and he leads them into the stables, and then he says, I'm gonna come back for the horses in a bit.
Well, thank
Unless,
you
of
very
course,
much.
You want
I think,
to...
yeah, I think Aisling would offer, because we cannot do too much. I think Aisling would offer that she can lead the horses in. That we
Well then,
merely-
if you will follow me, will
Yes.
follow me.
Thank
and
you, thank you.
It's actually it's a stable where you can, there's a donkey in there, you can put your
Yeah.
horses in there. The oxen are actually kept a donkey. The oxen are actually kept outside. There's like an enclosure, and there's also 2 cows. And basically the oxen are then led onto it, and he says, well, I need to feed them first, but there is food in there for the horses if you would like to do this yourself, because I really need to look after the oxen because they've been dragging all day.
Yeah, Aisling just needs a space where she knows she can bring the horses to. She can take care to make sure they're fine. I don't think it was an extremely... Well, it was a long ride, but since
It wasn't
we did not
arduous,
go that...
but it was they want now their
Yeah, we'll
evening
get
and
them a
everything.
bit to eat, clearly fresh water, just cleaning them up, getting rid of the saddle, and just
The donkey
giving them some
eyes
ear
you
scratches.
with his long ears, and he's watching you, and he looks at you expectantly.
I think after all the cleaning and prepping and so on, Aisling would pull out 2 apples out of her bag. Because they had apples here.
Yes.
I bought them at the market.
Yeah.
And would give 1 to Percy. With scritches behind the ears. Would obviously give 1 to Storm as well. Not as cutely scritches, but just like...
I'm
obviously
a war
did
horse.
well. You're a war horse. He's Percy's the cute one. And then I would look over to the donkey.
The donkey tilts his head to the side, looks at you. His long ears are playing.
And I would look at the 2 horses. What do you think, boys? Should we share a bit of the food with the cute little stranger here?
Percy nods. Storm looks at you solemnly, and you know in his
He
heart of heart
doesn't.
he is thinking,
I don't care.
he's a peasant. But why should we not be nice to the peasant?
So Aisling would walk over to the donkey and would hold out 1 of the apples to him or to
He
them.
goes, and
And would carefully also give them a little bit of...
the donkey likes this. He munches on his apple.
And you cutie.
Then the young man comes in. Oh, you've met Lars.
He's a pretty one. And he has a good taste.
He's my donkey. I got
Oh.
him when he was a foal.
You took well care of him.
I'm very proud of him. He's
Scritches under, like here a little bit, and then... well, I hope it's okay. I gave him an apple, just that you know that he's not
ooh,
getting
aren't you being
overfed.
spoiled? What do we say? We say thank you. And the donkey bends 1 leg and does a knee.
Aisling is impressed.
When
She's looking over at the other 2 like,
The two of them are looking away.
Like,
I don't know what you're talking about. What the hell is going on here? And
that must have took quite some training. Donkeys are usually quite stubborn in the ways what they want to do.
Well, yes, they are stubborn, but they are not stupid. And basically, I started training him because I realized that he enjoyed doing tricks. So one day I was riding him because you can ride him, you know, and I dropped a bucket, and the bucket rolled away, and he followed the bucket. I fell off because I didn't expect him to just change direction, and he picked up the bucket at the handle and brought it back to me. He was a bit surprised when I was lying on the floor, and he was looking at me kind of going, "What are you doing down there?" And I realized that I can play fetch with him. So I started throwing things, and he went and he brought them back. So we first practiced back in the field, and then I started teaching him tricks. So he can fetch stuff, he can bend a knee, and he can also balance stuff on his back. So it's just you know, it keeps him busy. He enjoys it, but he will also tell you when he's had enough.
Well, so it means that she would look at Lars. You're not only a cute one, you're also a smart one. And a little bit more scritches.
He enjoys that, and he says, yes, I think he's smart, you know, and he's only young. He's 3 years old.
Then he has a lot more potential to learn even more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is definitely a good help to have around.
He was a present from the miller.
Ooh. Means you did also there a good support that you got a donkey.
Well, he actually belongs to me and my sister, but she doesn't have the time of day for animals. So I'm looking after him. I think that at the very bottom of her heart, she does love him, but she doesn't tell him.
Who can't love that cute face?
The donkey smiles at you. You can see out of the corner of your eye that Stodom is giving you the stink eye. Percy just nods, you know, cute face, yeah.
Is not even. But yeah, then she would give the donkey a last pat. She would give Storm and Percy a last scratch. Be like, tomorrow we're on the road again. Enjoy the night in a warm and cozy place. And then she would join again Siobhan and the others. Mm-hmm.
It's time for dinner. It's rabbit stew. It's really nice. And of course, they've got bread. And then basically... these are hardworking people, so they usually go to bed at sundown. This time it's a little bit later, but they get up with the crow of the cock in the morning. So you will be up early. Mm-hmm. They're also telling you this, and they will also inform you that there will be food, so breakfast, and you're more than happily invited to join them for breakfast. And if you choose to leave tomorrow, then they will provide you with some rations basically to take with you, and they also show you where the well is so that you can fill your water bottles.
We would also ask exactly how long the travel would be from here to Tamlin.
Let me look at my map, which I have extended at this stage,
because that would be just good for planning, to see when to leave, how quick to go, when to look for camp.
Yup. That would be round about 25, 50, 75. They estimate it's going to be about 3 days.
Okay.
3 to 4 days. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think we would join them for breakfast, and afterwards would start on the road, because it's not that they will have breakfast at. It will still be early in the morning. They're working people, so.
So you basically then leave, and the road basically moves slowly northwest. You after about half a day, after about 1 or 2 hours, you see the first buildings and the first of the other village that they were talking about. You can also see a wain coming towards you with people bringing the harvest to the mill. And people greet you. The village is really, as she said, kind of like drawn out. It's a lot less compact than Brook. You might even think that it's maybe not just a village, but it's like an assortment of houses. Some are over here, some farmhouses are over there, but they obviously feel like a unit. And then you leave that behind and you enter a hill country. Now, the hills are actually not so low. So you would say probably around 800 to 900 meters from the ground. And they are really hilly.
Okay.
And you would say that it's probably not possible to grow anything there because you wouldn't be able to work the land because it is too hilly. But it's not like the highlands where you would find a lot of stone. It's really just grass.
Okay.
The weather is nice. It's not too cold, not too cold, or not too hot, not too cold. And after a while,
to
Trisea.
It's nice and comfortable.
And basically, do you want to take a break at some point?
Yeah, we're not in a hurry. It's not that we are in a rush or we need to be there by. If it takes 4 days, it's 4 days. If it takes 5 days, it's 5 days. So I think we are more just enjoying the ride, just to also have a look at the scenery, nature, also keeping eyes and ears open, what kind of animals we can see in here. And we would probably take a small lunch break.
You do see animals, especially birds, some birds of prey, the ones that you would be used to, like the smaller ones, the buzzards and stuff.
Yeah.
And there are butterflies, there are dragonflies, so there must be some body of water somewhere.
But it's similar at least to what we know from home.
Absolutely. And you hear the birds, and there are also nice wildflowers that you would know, like buttercups and stuff. And you basically then take a break. You get off your horses.
Yeah, we get off the horses and a little bit off the road. Not really hiding because we don't have a reason, but not to be in the way in case something needs to go the road quickly.
Okay. You find a nice spot. You sit down. Break out your food. And
enjoying.
You're enjoying. And as things happen, it's warm. You fall asleep.
We would also have the horses roam freely around. Since you said there's grass, they can just grass. Because we know as long we're there, they're usually not running far off. So
you fall asleep.
Yep.
And then you hear a voice. And the voice says, "Students, please settle down." So let's just recap. Dolores, at the back, please pay attention. This is important. So we have 4 different types of eggs. We've got the black ones, we've got the blue ones, we've got the green ones, and we've got the red ones. You all know that it's best to collect as many eggs as possible, and you also know that each egg has a different set of properties. And each egg will take the measure of the person who's trying to hunt it and will pay back like with like. So each of you has different talents. So whenever you encounter a black egg, Dolores, please pay attention. So Dolores, when you encounter a black egg, let me assure you, it will be very different than if Tiernan encounters a black egg. Their behaviors will be different. They will be behaving according to what you can do. So Dolores, in your case, I expect every single egg to just sit there and let you scoop it up because you have no talents whatsoever. Then you hear another voice. Professor, Sue Ellen, yes, what is it? So basically, what about these two humans there? Will the eggs also take their abilities into account? Because that one has a sword. What do you mean humans? Sue Ellen, what are you? Oh my! Do you open your eyes at some point?
Yeah, I think for a short moment Ashling would be like, am I dreaming this or is it really happening? And then she would not stir too much, but she would peek and see if she can see anything.
The landscape is slightly altered. You notice, first of all, you're sitting and you're really wondering, did you miss this when you sat down, or was this maybe not there? You're sitting in a circle of, and Siobhan is sitting next to you. She's also woken up. So, and the horses are there too, but you are sitting in a circle of mushrooms, red-capped mushrooms. And you look around, and about 8 meters away from you, you see one of these ones. And I've posted you something in the chat. It's slowly loading. Still loading.
It's loading. At least I see some.
And so one of these ones turns around and says, "So Ellen, what are you talking? Oh my. Yes, you're right, the humans. Yeah, and that one does have a sword. Well, as I was saying, each egg will attune itself to the person trying to hunt it. So yes, Sue Ellen, of course, if somebody with a sword was gonna try and hunt down a black egg, the black egg would pull out its sword and would challenge the hunter to a duel. And would probably summon a lot of other black eggs to bring down the opponent. They're belligerent that way, and they don't play fair. But well, back to you, Sue Ellen. Think about what your abilities are, and then try to kind of divine what each egg is going to do. But the most important thing is, what do we do with the eggs once we've hunted them down? Well, if you collect 3 different eggs, you can take them to the archives and you get a striped ticket. If you just get 3 eggs of any color, you will get a purple ticket. If you get 3 tickets of any color, you get a reward. If you manage to get 2 tickets of a striped color, you will get a special reward from Queen Amaryllis. Okay, you, Simon, have not been paying attention. How many eggs of which color do you need to get a striped ticket?
Ashling is raising her hand.
Yes.
Just for me, is it just the one, like the professor, or are there smaller versions sitting around?
There are smaller versions sitting around, yes.
It's 3 eggs.
3 eggs of a separate color, yes, indeed. And your name is?
Ashling, and I'm sorry that we are disturbing your class. I'm not sure. She would look at Siobhan. How did we get here?
Oh!
There were no mushrooms.
You were invited by the queen herself. That is interesting. What? Well, let me introduce myself to you. I'm Professor Dumblebell. And this is my class of Vulpines. This is Dolores, this is Simon, this is Sue Ellen, over there is Tiernan, and at the back, would you please stop eating in class? Charles? That's Charles, and you see a really chubby Vulpine sitting there. He's the one, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we do not often get humans invited, but you must have caught the Queen's eye. Welcome.
Thank you. We are travelers. I'm Ashling, and this is my friend Siobhan. As I said, I have no idea.
She tries to shake your hand. She extends a paw.
I will carefully shake her hand back.
And she shakes Siobhan's hand.
We just had a lunch break along the road. Do we still see the road when Ashley
Yes.
would look around?
The road is there. There are the hills. There's only the difference is it looks a little bit more colorful. It looks a little bit like it's all a little bit brighter. The greens are a little more intensive. The reds of those red caps is really red.
But the road, there were no mushrooms there.
Ah.
You know, we are not from here. We have no idea.
Oh, you've probably piqued her interest. The Queen is always looking forward to meeting people she's never met before.
Queen is like you?
Oh no, we're Vulpines. The Queen is the Queen of Fairies, Amaryllis. It's the spring court.
Fairies.
Yes, fairies. Surely you've heard of fairies.
Well, where we are from, yes, there are. You don't meet them.
Oh, that's sad.
There are stories.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that people here would be able to tell you stories of the fairies as well. Well, there is Queen Amaryllis. She's the queen of the spring court. There is King Lysander. He rules the autumn court. Then we have Princess Frostbite. She rules the winter court. And then, of course, we have King Solomon. He rules the summer court. Of course, she doesn't really like it when one calls her Frostbite. But it's in her nature. She can't help it.
Ashley will just look at Siobhan. She is like...
But, I mean, you are here for the egg festival. Right? So the way this works is the Queen has hidden lots and lots of eggs. There are 4 colors: black, blue, green, and red. And it's for us to find them and then to exchange them for tickets. And for each ticket that you bring to the Queen, you get a present because it's her birthday. So basically, when it's her birthday, the Queen invites all and sundry to celebrate with her, to go on an egg hunt, and then get presents from her in exchange. It's a great festival. I love it. Each year, I get something else.
Sundry?
All and sundry, everyone.
Sundry is the land you live in?
No, all and sundry means everyone.
Oh, okay. Egg festival.
You know what an egg is, right?
Yes, although...
Good. She looks very relieved.
Are they painted? Because you were talking about different colors.
Oh,
we only have brown and white eggs where I come from.
Well, these are not quite like those eggs. And no, they are not painted.
They're about this big.
No, it like I said, they basically adjust themselves to whoever is trying to hunt them down. So for you, they would probably be a lot bigger than they would be for Charles.
Maybe then I'm not the best choice to look for eggs.
Oh, you would be the perfect choice.
Aisling is just... Well, you can see how unsure she is. She's basically still sitting, just cross-legged, and just looking over, also having an eye on Storm and Percy to make sure that
they are
not
grazing.
running off.
No, they're grazing.
We you think we got invited?
Well, you're here, right?
Yeah,
So how else would you get here?
by accident. We are quite good at doing things by accident.
You know that there are sentries. You don't just come in here by accident. If you were to try without being invited, you would be dead by now.
So, if we want to go back, we need to talk to the queen, I suspect.
I'm pretty sure that she would be happy to talk to you. I mean, she has invited you. I expect that she's expecting you to come and see her for an audience. I can tell you, there is always very good food. Charles! Put away that roll. Charles waits for her to turn her head again and bites into the roll.
So where can we find the queen?
In her glade?
Did I just follow the road?
No, you just follow us.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You look a little bit apprehensive, my dear.
It's a bit surprising.
The first time you're seeing a vulpine, right? You've
Yeah.
never seen one of us before? Well, let me tell you, we are, I mean, when you see the glade wolves, they also are very nice. I mean, they're a little bit haughty. Don't expect them to say much, but they're also not dangerous.
Oh, we have foxes where I come from. They look at least similar to you guys. They just can't talk and they walk on 4 legs.
Ah, well, yes, we've got them here too, but I'm a vulpine. And fox and glade wolves are also they look like wolves, only a lot bigger. I mean, they reach to your shoulder probably when you stand. Like I said, they're just haughty. But, you know,
As long as they don't bug me, I will not bug them. I learned my lesson to stay away from wolf creatures.
please don't call them wolf creatures because they don't really like it.
Okay.
Call them glade wolves.
I would just say hi and bye.
That will work. But if a glade wolf has an eye on an egg, please don't try and hunt for the same one because that could end badly.
I'm still not really in hunting eggs. That is your tradition, not ours.
Yeah, but you're here
I
for the
don't wanna-
spring festival.
But I don't want to steal eggs from the little ones.
You're not stealing eggs. There will always be just enough eggs for everyone to go round. The queen knows how many people will be attending. There will be more than enough eggs.
There's no way of teamwork, like together, catching, finding.
What are you afraid of? Charles is now finished his roll and he's slowly approaching and he's like, "You're so big."
Yeah, and eggs usually are very easily to break.
Charles looks at you. "You're clumsy?" "I'm clumsy too."
Well, I'm a mix of clumsy and being very strong, which is a bad mix for eggs, except I want to break and eat them.
"I like you." He puts his hand in his pocket. He's wearing a waistcoat and he pulls out a little bag of pretzels. "Have some."
I will give him a smile. I will pick one
Crunch,
and
crunch.
just crunch on it. I can only give you some bread in return.
Oh, that's fine. I don't need any. And she says, no, Charles, you really don't need any more food. You've been eating since we left this morning.
But food brings energy.
He's a little chubby, as you can see.
He's just perfect as he is.
He beams at you. and the professor puts her hand on his. She actually has hands. I mean, vulpine hands, but she has opposable thumbs. She can hold stuff. And she puts her hand on his head, and she says, "Yes, he is perfect as he is, but still, eating in class is disrespectful, young man." And he actually, when he hears this, he takes the bag, he closes it, puts it back in his pocket, and smiles. And she says, "Well, are we ready to go then?"
Give us a second to collect things. Aisling would get up, just packing her things together.
Yeah, Siobhan has already started packing.
Would just give a whistle, so Storm would come closer, and honestly, I think Percy would be smart enough to follow behind.
Percy isn't smart, but he can follow Storm. That's something he can do easily.
Yeah, but by now, I think we traveled enough that Percy knows that is a sign, basically, for both of them to...
Percy obviously wants an apple.
Yeah, I will... One of the apples I will just break in half and give one half to Percy and one half to Storm.
They munch on them gladly.
So, come on, then let's see where this goes. And we would lead the horses. We would not ride. We would lead the horses and follow the professor and the students.
The professor and the students march in single file behind the professor. You follow. And
in between, Aisling would lean into Siobhan like, what the hell did we get in now?
Siobhan looks at you and she says, "Can you not just roll with it? They're being really nice."
I know they're nice, but this is weird.
She puts her hand on your shoulder and she says, "Aisling,
I usually fight with these things over the birds I'm hunting. And they're usually not clothed and talk and walk like this."
She stops.
Don't
She
you think
turns
it's a bit
towards you.
peculiar?
Aisling, yes, this is peculiar. I am with you. But are you afraid?
Well, I don't want to offend anyone, because if fairies here can do what fairies can do back at home, and she's a queen.
Yes, and she's invited us. You are the daughter of a sire.
I am just Aisling. I'm a mere peasant, just like you. No, you are holy, you are above me, so...
Aisling, please.
On the last part, I'm honest, I'm just a peasant. I have no title. The only thing I have to my name is my sword and my horse, and my best friend. That is a brilliant healer.
You will be fine. You have yourself.
Aisling would just shrug and will pull Storm again and follow.
Siobhan shakes her head, and you can see that she's looking at the sky.
But Aisling, this is all, it's just not natural.
You follow the vulpines,
Yeah.
and
Although honestly following them and looking on how... I'm quite sure Aisling will not be able to keep a smile from creeping in her face, because they must look so adorable.
they look very adorable. And the students are, of course, maybe walking in single file, but they're whispering and they're pointing at, like, you know, little butterflies that are flying around. And you basically walk up a hill, you walk down a hill, and suddenly in front of you, it's almost like you stepped into a very light forest, and around you is a glade, which is quite big. And there are very, very nice deciduous trees, and you're surrounded by a million blue butterflies that are flying around, and it's almost like somebody has taken a huge amount of blue petals and has just basically thrown them into the air, and they're slowly falling down. And the vulpines stop. And the professor turns to you and she says, well, this is where you start hunting the eggs. It's very simple. You just look around and you try to find one. And then when you've got your sights on it, you just try to catch it. Each one will behave differently. The blue ones, the black ones, the green ones, and the red ones all have one way that they will react to you. This way will be different from the way they will react to us, because we are smaller than you and less strong. We may be a little bit faster than you, I'm not sure. So it really depends on what you can do best. And they will try and challenge you in a way. Good luck. And then the little ones start swarming. And Siobhan starts looking for eggs.
Aisling will start looking, but she's hesitant if she really will go for an egg. Maybe you go looking for eggs. I will just keep watch on the horses.
Why?
After what she said, I'm waiting for an egg my size with the sword trying to hit me. You go first. You go first. I will take care of the horses. And she would just send Siobhan, and she will be watching.
Siobhan starts laughing.
Beaten by an egg is not something I want to see in my resume. Come on, you first.
Has anyone ever told you that you're a killjoy?
Yes.
Okay. And she starts walking, and she's looking at the ground like you would in an Easter egg hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Aisling will have Percy and Storm and Percy and be
You
just
see her?
watching.
you see her pick up the pace, and she's now got her eyes firmly to the ground, and she's running and she's running and she's running ever faster, and then she jumps forward and lands on all fours, and then she's basically groping on the ground like so, turning around, looking, and then as she's turning her head, she suddenly freezes in mid-motion, and then she picks up the pace. It's like a rabbit jumping, and then she starts running again, and the same thing happens, and she again tries to catch something, falls to the ground, and then the same thing happens. So let's see if she actually manages to do this. Okay.
Aisling is rooting for Siobhan. You can do it.
Let's see. Nope. She doesn't. She basically then, you see her throw up her arms, and she says, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. And she gets up again, and she starts looking again. And then she keeps looking, and let's see how she's doing. She looks, and as she's walking underneath one of the trees, she happens to look up, and she stops, and she looks to the ground. She finds a branch. She uses the branch to basically beat against the lowest branch of the tree, which is still outside of her reach. And watches as something falls down and picks it up. And then she waves her hand at you, and in it you can see that she has a green egg. It's about the size of her palm. It's not really a small egg.
Okay.
And she comes back and she says, hold this, and you should really try this too. And she's off again.
So she gave me the egg.
Yeah, hold on to this, or put it down, because we need to exchange it later. And you should really try this too. It's great fun.
Aisling will put the egg into a bag.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just hang it on Percy's saddle and be like, you two stay here, guys. Don't move. And she will leave the sword with Storm just on the saddle hanging. And she will walk in the opposite direction to Siobhan. And we'll try to see if she can see an egg.
Yeah. You suddenly hear a voice. Ha ha! A ruffian! And in front of you jumps out an egg. It's black. It's about maybe 30 centimeters tall. It's 2 fists in front of it, jumping from side to side like somebody who's a boxer.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, "You shall not pass." What's the password?
You lose.
Did you hear that? Boys, girls, bring her down. And suddenly you're swarmed by lots of black eggs. It's like Gulliver with when he meets the little guys. They jump on you. And it's 1 egg, 2 eggs, 3 eggs, 5 eggs, 6 eggs. And they are piling on you and you feel their weight. Make a strength check for me, please.
It's a success, which is not that hard for Aisling.
Okay, so basically, they are now hanging. They're clinging towards you. They've got little hands, and they're hanging on you. And the guy in front of you is still jumping up and down. It's like, bring her down! Bring her down!
Can Aisling just giggle and say, "Could you please stop tickling me, guys? I just need one of you."
She's ticklish. Go for it, and everybody starts tickling you. Is it working?
No, I don't think so. Could
Bring her down!
Aisling would just try to grab the one that basically is there. She would just like to...
Geschicklichkeit.
Oh,
it's
God.
jumping to the left and to the right, and you're trying to use your finger and your dexterity to catch it.
An 11, so a success.
Okay, you grab the egg, and it's basically, like, do you lift it?
Yeah, I would lift it and would
okay,
just
so
look at it.
Yeah, so the little arms and legs are flailing. It's like, ha! I've got you now! I win!
She would just look at him, and she would just turn around and would call over to Siobhan, "Got the first one!"
Hey, hello, let me down. I win, you lose. And he's basically, and the other eggs are clinging onto you. And they're like, they're not speaking.
Aisling would just walk towards the horses and see if the eggs let go.
He's still
or not.
flailing. And
Yeah,
basically,
that's fine.
I'm still the victor.
Well, I can call you Victor. Nice to meet you. I was told to collect eggs for the queen.
Yes, well, that's why you're here, isn't it? He
Yes.
keeps flailing. Good.
And I got the
Ha-ha.
first one.
But I was victorious.
Well, you did not collect me.
I'm not supposed to collect you. I'm just supposed to win. I've won.
Okay. If you say so. She's tempted to pat it, but she's scared that you will break it. So it's just like, I will just put you into a bag and see if I can find other ones. Not black ones, but other colors. Just wait patiently, please.
As long as you tell everybody that I win, it's fine.
Well, you can tell them yourself.
So you put him in the bag.
Yeah, I would have a separate bag which I would tie a knot to make sure he's not getting out. And
Well,
I would hang it
yeah.
on Storm's saddle this time.
Okay.
Do the other black eggs?
They're still hanging on you.
Guys, I just need one of you. Could you please all go? There are others that want to search for you.
You turn around.
Come on, shush.
They basically one by one drop off you, and then they start running.
Mm-hmm. Good.
You turn around and you see in front of you a really large wolf, easily reaching your shoulder.
Oh, good day.
The creature nods.
Have you by accident seen an egg, or are you hunting yourself?
I am hunting myself.
Oh, then I don't want to get in. Black ones are this way. She's pointing where the eggs ran.
He nods and he starts running.
Good luck.
The neck. So basically, you follow him with your eyes, and he runs, and the eggs stop and take a fighting stance. This time round, they're actually climbing on top of each other, and the top one is doing this. And hits the wolf on the nose.
Ouch.
Yeah, he growls.
Aisling lets them do their thing, so she's now... Okay, that was one.
Mm-hmm.
She will look for trees, because Siobhan found a green one in a tree. So she will look for trees and bushes, and we'll see if she can find a green one there.
Okay, then make Wahrnehmung.
No, not even close.
Not even close, okay.
I rolled a 3, that's not much.
Okay. Ooh. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Siobhan, and she is running, gaining speed, and she jumps into the air. And like a rugby player that's just caught the ball, she embraces something and falls to the ground, rolls around really elegantly, and holds up a blue egg. I've got a blue egg!
That looked amazing. Are you okay?
Yes, the blue ones float.
Oh. The green one is on I put it in a bag on Percy's saddle. I've got a black one. If you want a black one, they're feisty, but they're... See the wolf there?
She looks... Oh, they are big. And she runs over, and she puts the blue egg in with the green egg, and she says, "I'm gonna get a black one. You should try and get 2 more different colors, because then we can get 2 striped tickets."
I will try. I can't see. Aisling will switch point of view, so ignore trees, and she will go more for grass, air, so anything maybe bluish, or red was the last color I think.
You see a red egg. It's just lying there. On the ground, just lying there, minding its own business.
Seeing what Siobhan went through, Aisling has the idea that just running and jumping might not be the best way, because they seem to be quick, so Aisling would just sit down close to it on the grass and peek over.
Yeah. It's not moving.
Aisling would just carefully, if you'd like a little bit closer, and would look.
Yes, you're inching closer, okay.
Just to see if the egg is moving as well.
Okay. Let's see.
And clearly Aisling would innocently just look over the grass and just have a look around.
Okay. Can you roll on Schleichen for me?
Oh god, I can try, although I really thought it would be good. She's not good at Schleichen. Oh, she's not good at it, but I rolled a 17, so dirty 20 success.
Okay, cool. You manage to inch closer and closer. And you are a hunter. You know how to stalk your prey. You know that it is important to move really slowly, and it takes time and patience. Patience is one of the things that Siobhan does not have.
Aisling sometimes also, but in this case, as you said, it's like hunting.
You catch a red egg.
Yes. She will grab the egg and be like, that took some time. Thank you for working with me. And she will carefully bring it back to the black one, and will just peek into the bag and be like, don't break the other one. And
she caught you too. She's a very worthy adversary. You should have seen me. I brought her down like she was made of paper with these 2 fists. And the red egg goes, yeah.
And I will put them together in a bag and put it on Storm's back. And okay, so air or tree? Aisling will have a walk around, basically scanning everything more on a higher ground and see if she can see anything blue or green.
You hear a kerfuffle. You turn around and you see that Siobhan is engaged in a fist fight with a black egg. And she's just giving it an uppercut, and it goes down. She rolled a 25 on her Raufen. And
you hear yelling and clapping from
and
Aisling,
the egg
like,
basically falls down like it's a boxer that's been hit, and then says, "I yield." And she picks up the egg and carries it back to the bag. She has 3 different colored eggs now, and she's like, "So how is it going for you?"
I need one more. I have a red and a black one.
Ooh, wow, I never caught the red ones. You know what? I'm so quick, but they are quicker.
Well, you need to be slow. That's
What?
the point. Patient and slow.
It's like fishing.
A mix of fishing and meditating, yes.
No wonder I couldn't catch them.
Well, then let me see. And Aisling would just wander off and have a look around, as I said, for green or blue. So she would stay close to trees.
Then roll Wahrnehmung.
Let's hope this time it's better. Oh, I rolled a 19. So 25.
You see a green egg. This one is, however, not in a tree. It's really nestled into a little... It's almost like a bed of flowers, basically. You know, like it's dandelion, and they've got these, you know, the leaves that they have, and it's basically nestled in there, and it's really hard to see because it does look, the green blends completely into the green of the dandelion leaves, and you got yourself a green egg.
Yeah, she will very cautiously, slowly get closer and carefully lift it and be like, well, welcome to the team. And she would carry it over to her bag. So that's a third one. That's all we need, is it?
Yes, now we can get 2 striped tickets.
Then let's go. In which just she will.
I think we need to go that way
Okay.
because that's where everybody else is going with their loot.
Then we will follow the rest.
Yeah. So you follow the rest.
Aisling will have a look around if she can see Charles and if he's doing okay.
Charles seems to be doing okay. He has a bag with eggs.
Good.
And he comes to you and he says, I got 9 red ones. The red ones are really easy. You just have to sit next to them.
I know, right? It's just taking a little bit of time and patience. Well done.
And he smiles at you, and you know that he's going to get, for this, he's going to get 4 purple tickets, and then he has 1 spare egg. And he says, this one I'm going to give to Sue Ellen. I really like her.
She's a cute one. She will like that gift.
And then you see Sue Ellen walk around and he's like, wish me luck. And he goes over to her and he basically talks to her and he hands her an egg and she takes the egg and she gives him a little peck on the cheek.
You heard a little squeak from Aisling.
And basically then you get to the place where the archivists sit. And the archivists are actually herons. And they are all wearing glasses because obviously they need to read a lot and write a lot. And basically it is your turn. And they say, Aisling, what have you brought?
How do you know my name?
Well, I'm an archivist. Of course I know your name. Says right here, you are here by the special invitation of Her Majesty the Queen herself. There is also somebody named Siobhan. That must be you. And he points to Siobhan.
Yeah. I brought, excuse me, three eggs. A red, a green, and a black one.
Very
named
good.
Victor. And she will put the back on the table.
Victor basically fights his way out and he says, I knocked her down fair and square. And the archivist goes, yeah.
Good.
And he gives you a striped ticket and then he puts all of the eggs down and the eggs roll slowly away, except for Victor, who basically runs and he's like, ha, I slew a human.
And I'll make space for Siobhan.
And Siobhan hands over her green one, her blue one, and her black one. And the archivist gives her a striped ticket. And then he says, well, for 2 striped tickets, you will get a special reward from the Queen. Her Majesty is that away. And he points towards the northern end, you assume, of the glade.
Well, thank you. And Aisling will hand her ticket to Siobhan.
She holds up 2 tickets. No, for you.
No, you.
You!
You started. If you would not have started to catch the first egg, I would have never touched it.
Okay, whatever it is, we will share the reward, okay?
That's also fine with me.
Okay, so the 2 of you go to the northern end of the glade. And there's a dais. And on that dais, you see a throne. And on that throne, you see a woman. Not surprising. Queen. She looks definitely human in terms of she's got 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. But her features are slightly different. Her features are completely black. And she has, her skin is the color of ebony. She has a very finely cut face, really pronounced cheekbones, oval face, very dark eyes, brown. And she has a most dazzling smile. She has very long hair, which is very curly, but she's wearing it in 2 braids down her shoulders. And there are different people. The Vulpines are there. They are handing in their tickets. And she basically bestows little presents upon everybody. There are a couple of people who have 2 striped. People. You're the only humans. There is a group of frogs. And there are 2 of these wolf creatures, and lots of other, there are several bird families, and then basically some of them have the 2 striped tickets, and they are all given an egg.
Okay.
And the egg is always completely black. Do you, so basically, do you approach with Siobhan or do you let Siobhan do this on her own?
No, we would approach together.
She smiles at you and she has a really soft, very guttural, really warm, full voice. Ah, my guests, I am so glad you could make it.
Thank you for the invite.
My name is Amaryllis. I'm the Queen of the Spring Court. You must be Aisling, and she looks at you.
Aisling would nod and would probably give a small bow, like, you know, Majesty.
And you are Siobhan. I'm really pleased to meet you both. Oh, and you've collected 2 striped tickets. For a first-timer, that is really good. You see, most people here have done this a couple of times already. But I try to change up how the eggs react every year. So, here's your reward. And she hands you an egg, which is about 20 centimeters. It looks like a real egg. It's quite heavy as you take it. And she says, take good care of it. In 10 days' time, it'll hatch.
It's also black?
Yes, completely black. And it's slightly shiny.
Aisling for sure will have Siobhan carry that. She would.
Yeah, let the little one carry the heavy object.
Mm-hmm.
And Siobhan bows and says, "Well, Your Majesty, thank you so much. You see, we're strangers to this land, and to be welcomed so lovingly, that is something else. Thank you very much."
Also, just one question: how do we get back to our road towards Tamlin?
Siobhan looks at you. She's looking daggers at you.
Aisling asked the question. It's too late, and she has no idea what she just. Or do the festivities go on for longer, and should we stay longer? I'm sorry.
I always forget that you humans are so impatient. Of course, you can leave whenever you like. Just go that way. And in no time, you will get back to the road and to your own world.
Is the festival ending today, or does it go on?
It ends whenever people want it to end.
With that, Aisling will just step back and will just wait patiently to see what Siobhan does, because it's again like, oh god, she's talking like one of the gods. Cryptic insanity.
Siobhan, you hear her say, "Your Majesty, I am deeply sorry." She's and she gets really serious and she says she's been through a lot. She is broken. We thank you. And she turns around and she basically just walks past you.
I will just look at the queen like, thank you for the invite. And she will follow Siobhan, dragging the horses behind her.
And Siobhan makes a straight beeline for the direction that the queen indicated for you to leave this world.
Do you want to stay longer, Siobhan?
I'm not...
I don't want to race you out of here.
You're obviously uncomfortable.
Well, it's all a bit weird. Other people would say unnatural. Although it's kind of cute.
I honestly don't know what to say.
Or should we maybe stick around and wait for this thing to hatch? I'm not sure we should be in a city of people.
You
not
want to
knowing
wait
what
10
this
days
is.
here. You, with your impatience, you with your inability to accept that things may be different from what you expect.
I like that idea more than sitting in a city and whatever comes out of this will do something we don't like. Maybe whatever hatches belongs here.
I do not think so, otherwise she wouldn't have given it to us, because she knows where we're going.
Well, based on how long it took, she will look up. How does the sky look? Because it should be at least afternoon, if not evening by now.
It's slowly getting dark.
We can just camp here and decide tomorrow.
Are you sure that you want this?
Well, what could happen?
Well, I don't know what you think could happen, because you are the one who's feeling so uncomfortable it's making me nervous.
Aisling will grab her sleeping bag and the things, and she will start to set up camp. And we still have enough food, so that's easy enough.
Well, actually, as you set up camp, there are some animals coming by and actually are depositing little hampers with food for the guests who are staying. Enjoy.
Oh,
compliments from the Queen.
Thank you. I will add, it's a bit weird.
Siobhan basically just looks at the sky and she says, honestly, sometimes I really feel like slapping you into next Sunday.
Is that just
you can be very
for
frustrating.
You?
No, it's not, but it's also not a threat.
I'm not scared. I'm just weirded out. They're two totally different things. I'm not scared that they will eat me or kill me, or eat you or kill you. That would be scared. We will not die here. It's still weird.
Can you not just accept the weirdness?
I need to get used to things. Just give me a few hours a day, is not sure. The foxes were cute.
Yes.
And have you seen? Charles was successful. He could give the egg. And he got a kiss. That was adorable.
When we were children, you were the one who was always running around. You were the one that was always exploring. And I was telling you to calm down, to slow down, to not get in trouble, to try and stick to the path well traveled. And now we are grown-ups and you are so afraid of or weirded out by things that are not part of the normal well-trodden path. What's happened?
I grew up.
You grew up.
Again, I'm not scared. It's just very different.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if it's good different or just very weird different.
She sits down next to you, cross-legged.
At least they're nice here. The food looks good.
Aisling, we are now in a land that is completely different. The stars are different. Everything is different. We are here because somebody tried to save your life. I'm wondering if they actually did you a favor.
Well, they saved our lives, not only mine.
The reason why I prayed was because I didn't want you to die.
Well, and the reason
Now
why
I feel that I
prayed-
made a big mistake.
My main worry was that you will die. So
I
we're in
will
the
die.
same boat here. Well,
One
we both
day.
will die of old age one day. Obviously.
I would not have taken my own life.
No, you would have been brutally murdered by a freaking demon. And I would have to watch that. And I would be the reason for that. So it's good that we are here safe. I still miss home.
All right. She basically just gets some food from the hamper. She eats, she prays, she lies down, she goes to sleep.
Aisling will talk with Storm after she went to sleep and be like, sometimes I don't get her. I don't get why she's behaving like that, but okay. It will be alright. As long as you're not stalking to talk to me, everything is good. And she will give him a little pat. She will give Percy a little scritch. And then she will roll up and go to sleep.
Okay, you wake up the next morning. The horses are there. The egg is there. Siobhan is nowhere to be seen. There is food. What do you do?
Will have like a circle walk around and see if I can see any sign of Siobhan.
Yeah, you can see a sign of Siobhan. She is talking to one of the wolves.
Then I will go back to the horses and I will just pack a few things. Just basically getting camp back together after eating a little bit of the hampers as well. Looking at the egg, wrapping it probably in like, I don't know, a shawl or whatever we have with us. And would plonk myself down and just wait for her to return.
At length, she comes back.
Good morning. She will pat the egg very carefully. I wrapped it. Maybe it likes it warm and cozy.
Good thinking.
What did the wolf say? Next to that, the black eggs are a menace.
He told me to be patient with you.
Mm-hmm. That should not be news to you. I know patience is not your strong suit.
I see what you did there.
I just say fishing.
You're not a fish.
Patience. And now I can give a second example. Red egg.
You know?
Charles caught 9 of them.
Let me guess, he just sat down next to them and waited.
Yeah, he's a smart one. Less effort, good result.
So you're telling me that I'm not a smart one? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you caught one of the blue ones, where I have no freaking idea how you did that. I would have face palmed into earth without an egg, for sure. It looked amazing.
Yes, you've always been clumsy.
Yes. So, do we want to explore? Do we just want to camp and stay here?
What do you want to do?
I still stick to the idea that I don't wanna go with that anywhere near a city without knowing what it is.
Well, we can stay here for as long as we like. I've checked.
Then let's maybe find a place where we can have a little bit of a vacation camp.
Sure.
Maybe there's a place where I can fish. Although
Oh,
I'm
yes.
afraid that the fishes will just pull on the hook and say hello, leave me alone.
Follow me. There is a lake.
She will grab Percy and Storm with one in the reins, and in the other she will carefully lift the egg and was like, do you want to carry that?
I will carry the egg. She takes the egg. She walks ahead of you. You cross the glade. It's still full of butterflies. I mean, it's amazing. Now that the sun is shining again, there's also kind of like light flickering. And you walk into the woods. She says, it's not long now. And the woods open, and there's a beautiful lake. With a little waterfall.
That looks like a nice place to meditate.
I don't think I can muster the energy to be fully still. You drive me crazy, darling.
Well, that's a vice versa thing, but I will just sit down and meditate a little.
How would I drive you crazy?
Being you. In all the good ways. And the sometimes a little bit annoying. I just don't understand you sometimes. That's the only thing.
Why? What don't you understand? I mean, this is important.
I don't understand what happened yesterday. I also don't understand, like, you can run around here like it's the normalest daily thing. As if we've grown up in a place like this.
We haven't.
Exactly. So why is it a bad thing that I need some time to just cope with this? This is like from a fairy tale that we read when we were children. But they were stories, not real. It's
Like my
like we
goddess
fell
isn't real?
into a book.
Like my goddess isn't real?
Oh, gods are a weird and special thing.
I think this is the big difference. I can accept because I believe that there is things that we don't know. That there are things that we've never seen before.
Explore and understand things.
You see, I think this is a huge difference. I don't need to understand. I can just accept.
There, I have no idea how you do that.
Close your eyes.
Aisling would close her eyes. I think while talking, we would have at least put down, just honestly probably let the horses roam.
Close your eyes.
She would close her eyes. Probably in between peeking.
No peeking.
And she would close her eyes.
So, am I still here?
Yes,
How do you know?
I hear you.
She's silent.
I know you're still here because I did not hear you leave. And probably Aisling can hear her breathe, I highly suspect, when she's fully focused. You see, there's evidence that you're there.
Is there? And you suddenly hear her voice very far away from you. It's behind you.
How did you do that? I did not hear you move. Aisling would just look at her and would wait for an explanation.
I surprised you, didn't I?
Yes. And now I know you have a new talent that is called moving very sneakily, or you can bamf yourself from A to B.
I can do what?
Just teleport. Vanish here, appear there.
Yes. If I really want to.
That's impressive and good to know. See?
No, I will never do this again.
Well, it might be helpful if you're in a pickle. Never say never.
All I'm saying is just because something is... You think it's there, it may not be. But something that isn't, that you can't see, may still be there. I just wish that you could try and find a way to enjoy life again.
See, there I don't understand you. What's telling you I'm not enjoying life? I am enjoying life. I'm much more relaxed and relieved than when we were back in Kvasir.
Maybe it's because I'm watching you too closely.
The thing is, we both should enjoy life. Don't forget yourself over me. Because I haven't seen you smile and enjoy this at all either.
I am enjoying myself immensely.
See? Then let's just use the next 9 days, counting 9 days, to have a little vacation here. Without traveling, without stress. Doing whatever we like. And let's see what on earth we got here.
I have an idea.
It's quite a big chicken, I have to say. Looking at the size of the egg.
It's not a chicken.
You don't think? It might be a feast to eat that if it's that big.
You want to eat it?
Aisling giving her a very smirky smile. Honestly, everything here is too cute to be eaten. Even the eggs were too cute that we had to catch.
You suddenly hear a ha-ha from your right.
Hello, Victor. Nice to see you again.
Victor comes running.
Good day.
Fist up. Revenge. You caught me last time, but this time around he's hopping around you like a boxer. Friend of yours?
Kind of. He beat me last time. I was just afterwards quick enough to grab him.
He puts his fist onto his waist. He's like, "Ha ha! I slew a human." And he basically does laps around the lake. He needs to keep fit, doesn't he?
Well, he's a feisty one.
Mm-hmm.
You should be scared of him.
Yeah, he beat you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, how about you just sit down, relax, think about fighting the egg or whatever it is that you think about when you're trying not to be annoying, and let me take care of this. Okay? There's a nice spot.
Come on, Victor, let's meditate. Maybe that's something for you.
Victor is finishing his lap. He's like, "Well, what do they say? A fighter's always focused. You have to understand the prey to hunt the prey." He sits down cross-legged next to you.
Yeah. And now you see like a picture of Aisling and Victor next to her, just like sitting at the lake and just like
meditating,
emptying, just like just listening to the waterfall and the leaves probably moving and just that. And maybe a horse here and there, just like the noise they do.
Let's see how Victor does. He rolled a natural 20. He's a natural.
He's a fighter. He knows what he's doing.
So basically, you and Victor the egg meditate by the fairy lake while Siobhan is looking after the horses, building a fire, building a camp, putting out food, preparing a fishing rod. You hear the splash as the hook goes into the lake.
When the hook goes into the lake, Aisling will have like a little thought. Just be like, Vanna, if you're around, even in a weird place like this, it would be really lovely if you would let her catch a fish. Thank you.
Okay. In this case, she gets an advantage, considering that, what did we use? We used...
Isn't it survival? Let me see.
It is, isn't it?
Überleben, yeah. I think it is. Because there's nothing like fishing, I think. No, there's nothing
there
like fishing.
isn't.
Yeah, I think it was survival.
No. She rolled twice with advantage.
Oh.
She didn't catch anything. Although she has a 10, but she only got a 6 and an 8. Basically, you meditate. After a while, you hear how she pulls in she's like, nothing in that lake. At least not for me. And then, do you stop meditating?
I will stop meditating a little bit afterwards and would just look over to her. Do you want to switch places? It's a really nice spot to just calm down.
Not that I need calming down. What?
I will just see if I can get anything. And she will just plonk herself, will grab the fishing line and will be...
Oh, she rolls a 12, which means her meditation roll succeeded.
See? It's a good place.
She's probably thinking, Vanna, just make sure that I don't kill her.
And I rolled a 19 on survival, so 20.
You get a fish.
Something. Yep.
It's a really beautiful fish. Nice, big, rainbow colored. And you can prepare it.
Yeah, that would be the main question. Is it talking to me? Because then
No.
she would throw it back.
It's not talking to you.
Don't eat something that is talking to you.
No, it's not talking to you.
Okay.
Victor is waking up from his meditation. He's like, he probably fell asleep at some point.
That's still meditating, as long
Yeah,
as he
it's still
didn't fall
meditating.
over all the time.
No, he did. No, he didn't. And then he's like, I'll be back tomorrow. Revenge. And
Nice, we will do more training.
he runs off. And Siobhan's like, you and that egg.
Well, he's a strong fighter, and honestly, he believes in himself. Which is impressive when you're that small. And you're standing in front of me.
Yeah, standing in front of you and still believing in oneself is always tough. Even for someone like me. Let's have something to eat.
Fish is almost done.
Very good. She sits down.
I think Aisling will just turn around the fish once more, and it will just be with the last bit, and then they can share the fish. Have a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of bread and what else they have. And enjoy a nice meal.
So what do you want to do when we leave?
Visit the town and see what is there.
All right.
Explore a bit more. Maybe
You don't know what
we
we will find.
a lot of people if it's a city, I suspect.
Yes.
Let's see how it is. The only thing that we can do while we are sitting or staying here, I need to learn a little bit more of that language that I heard a lot about, but totally ignored as a child to learn.
You want me to teach you?
Yes, please.
All right.
I will be an annoying, childish student.
You're
Just
always annoying. You're always childish.
So, let's start. Teach me the first word. Or sentences. Like hello, goodbye, my name is...
No, we will do this differently. And she basically goes to Percy's bag, which she's taken down, and she takes out a book. A book that you've seen her use very many times because it's actually her holy book. This is written in this language.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard me read from it many times.
Mm-hmm.
We will start with this.
Aisling had hoped for nice, cute stories.
Is that what you're saying?
No, that's what she's thinking. She will just swallow that idea and be like, we will do it her way. Just go with it.
Well, she rolled 27 on her mention Kentness. Not what you wanted?
That's your holy thingy.
Yes.
I don't want to be holy. I just want to learn the language.
All right. We'll take a couple of fairy tales.
Yes.
She sits down next to you.
She sees Aisling is... Now she's fully motivated.
And the two of you start learning.
Yes.
And basically, so you pass the days. You do some fishing, you do some meditating, you do some learning. Victor every so often comes by and the two of you can train. Basically, he's really into running. Do you run around the lake with him?
Oh yes, and I will maybe even do like a test fight, just as training. As lead Aisling will call it training, Victor will probably call it fight to life and death, more or less.
Yeah, and you also notice that he may look like an egg, but he's super robust. So he can fall and he can dive and he can basically, you can... One time he actually climbs on you and then you shake him off and he falls to the ground and nothing happens. So he doesn't really... He's not an egg as you would know.
Okay.
And so the days pass. And on the 10th day, do you look at the egg?
I think we will look at the egg anyhow every day just to see if it's doing
Nothing
okay-ish.
happens. On the 10th day, little cracks appear. The egg is moving. Something is inside and it's trying to get out.
Aisling will be close by, just watching. So like, watching. Not sure what Siobhan will do. I suspect the similar thing.
Siobhan is watching as well.
Okay, so I think in between, Aisling would have like a little bit of what could it be? Like having like a little bet running on what it is.
Okay.
And for Aisling, it would change at least twice a day what it could be. Between maybe
So
a frog or a snake or a fox or
Okay.
a big butterfly. And she's just going through all... Maybe an egg inside the egg?
Siobhan goes with all of this, but when you start about egg with inside an egg, she's like, what? No.
But they need to appear somehow.
That would be a weird gift to make of something. Basically, the egg hatches. The top falls off. And you see a little green thing
Human.
about No, not quite.
Yeah, good.
About this size.
Okay.
And it looks like it's got a serrated back. And it's got 4 limbs. Longish face. And it's got little wings that are see-through. That shine in all of the colors of the rainbow. And Victor, of course, realized that it's time for hatching, so he's been sitting there as well. And he says, "Oh my, that's a dragonfly."
Aisling will just look at it, just with big eyes and like mouth open, just like, because she's never seen a thing like that.
I can't believe you were given a companion. That is a rare gift. Victor basically stands there, his hands clutched, and he's looking at the dragonfly. And Siobhan is like, Victor, where we come from, dragonflies look slightly different.
Much smaller.
Also, they're not green. And he's like, well, I mean, depending on the type of dragon, they could be blue as well, or red, but this one is a green one.
Well,
And it really looks like a dragon, like almost like a velociraptor, like with a long tail, but just a serrated back.
and
it's
the
got
wings are like
of a dragonfly fly. Yes.
our dragonflies basically look like a stick with tiny legs and big wings.
If they're a stick, isn't it dangerous when they breathe fire that they set themselves on fire?
They breathe fire here?
It's a dragonfly, of course. What do you think?
Our dragonflies do not have anything to do with fire.
So, what about your dragons? Do they not
We-
breathe fire either?
We don't have dragons.
What do you mean you don't have dragons?
Just that. In our world, there are no dragons. At least not that we've seen them alive. Anywhere we traveled. Maybe they're hiding.
Well, that's sad.
Oh,
Anyways, congratulations.
thank you. Aisling very carefully would put out her finger towards the head of the dragonfly.
The dragonfly sniffs your finger. And then
I
it
would-
gets up on its hind legs and puts its paws, its front paws on your finger.
Aisling would turn a finger around and would like try to give scritches like here.
That works. It's got scaly skin.
Well, the question is, how do we name you? Or do you have a name?
It looks at you but doesn't reply.
Victor, do dragonflies speak when they grow up?
Well, I mean, I can tell you one thing for nothing. It's not going to grow. This is its size, but I think basically they will age and possibly start speaking. If you're nice to them. If not, they usually die very quickly.
Who would not be nice to such a cute creature?
Well, hopefully not you.
You don't have to worry about that. Aisling will just look at it and you will be safe with us. No worries.
The dragonfly spreads its wings. They are still wet because it's just hatched. And it just basically keeps them spread
So they can dry
so they can dry
and hard.
and harden.
She will look over to Siobhan in between to look what Siobhan is doing.
Siobhan is just looking at the dragonfly and she's looking at you very intensely.
Well, then we have like a back and forth thing happening.
So, do you want to take it with us?
It's a baby. We can't just leave it here.
Good.
Although I've no idea how to explain that in the outside world.
We just need to get it a little bit of a bag that it can live in when we are amongst people.
Let's just stay a few more days here and see how we... I don't even know, what do dragonflies eat? Here. I know what they eat back at home, but I don't know what they eat here.
Victor kind of like goes, I've never really thought about it. The only dragonflies I've ever met, they were never hungry. So it seems like they feed themselves. I've never seen them eat though. At that moment, a very long tongue is ejected from the little one's mouth and it catches a fly out of the air. Or that.
So similar, oh god, English is hard. Similar things as back at home, is it?
Frog. Okay, that should be fine. Means no more flies. The horses will be happy.
Oh, they will be very happy.
And the little guy is just sitting there basically still hardening out his wings and looking at you. Yeah, seems to be fine. And then Victor is like, all right then, I need to get back, but I'll see you tomorrow. Another lap, you know.
Yeah,
you need to keep
tomorrow.
You need to keep fit.
Take care.
And he runs off. This egg never walks, it always runs.
Ashley will lean back and would be just like lying basically on her stomach in the grass, just like watching the dragonfly. And in her mind slowly going through name options.
Siobhan basically starts looking after the horses and looking after food while you are watching the dragonfly. The dragonfly is definitely watching you back.
That's good.
And after a while, it starts moving its wings. The wings of, this has been going on for an hour or so. And it starts flapping its wings. And it starts taking flight. But it doesn't, it's more like hovering. It's not really flying away. It's hovering in front of your face.
Well done. That's quickly learned.
It buzzes around a little, then it settles down in front of you, folds its wings, and looks at you expectantly.
I will give it a little careful pat on the head. So, now we need to find a name. A good, strong name. Which Aisling will take at least until the next session to find out.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And at that moment, yeah, go ahead.
Looking at the time.
Yeah. Siobhan says, well, are you ready for some food?
Yes. She's not letting her eyes go away from the dragonfly.
Okay, I'll bring it to you. She
Oh no! We can come over. Aisling will carefully hold out her hand, and we'll see if the dragonfly.
The dragonfly steps onto your hand,
and Aisling will slowly move over to the place, making sure the dragonfly stays away from the campfire if we have a campfire there.
Yeah.
And I will just she will on her way will make a small stop on in front of the horses. Be like, okay, no name that will have a name. This is Percy. And this is Storm. Guys, don't eat it. It's family now.
The two of them look at it down their noses and they sniffle it. And the little dragonfly sniffs them as well. And they both approve.
Okay. They will get each half an apple for that.
They love it even more.
They love it even more. And then Aisling will carefully sit down and let the dragonfly go basically next to Siobhan. Finding a name will be something.
I leave that up to you.
No, it must work for both of us.
We will think of something.
As you said, we share the prize. It's ours.
We share the prize. It's ours. And she hands you some food.
Aisling will dig in and eat the food, and in between try little corners of food to just see if the dragonfly likes things like that as well.
You notice that the dragonfly eats meat.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Or fish.
Yeah. So small pieces clearly, but
yeah.
Good.
And you also notice that it's got teeth. It can chew.
Then don't make it angry. It will literally bite you.
Possibly. And we will leave it here. And I would like to thank you for telling the story with me. Thanks to all of our listeners and people who are watching this, or our patrons as well. And we will talk to you again in 2 weeks' time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
O hi hi mina morviena, o hi hi mina korviena, o hi hi mina karachen, hi mina skaren fojo, hi mi gondalan taches an trukuk mi, kerer or am feilches a chan en a hukas mi, jev mi an eigus gran rukim, nach recht ging tunich en or. O hi hi mina morviena, o hi hi mina korviena, o hi hi mina karachen, hi mina skaren fuicho.